I'm on my butt. I feel like a dog with worms. Now I'm probably overthinking this, but to make some jigs that I can just overlay over the foam as I'm shaping it seems to me to be a sensible decision. Righto, it's time to do a bit of anti-fouling. I've had it out of the water about 6 weeks. It's time to give it a bit more anti-foul. I've had some areas here where I had some barnacles actually get into it, so I've sanded it all back and I've given it a good grind. I'll give it a good another coats of anti-foul, get him done, get it back on the mooring. So anyone that's ever done any anti-fouling will know that it's actually just a horrid job. I mean, I had it on my legs, I had it on the bloody concrete, had it all over the place. But you can see that tarp that I put under the trail there, just so I didn't get it all over my trailer. But it was just to no avail. It was an absolute waste of time. There's only really two good times when you're anti-fouling, and that's when you finish it and then when you pull the masking tape off. So this went on for about a day and a half. I did 3 coats, and she looked pretty good given her age. And you know, it's just one of those things that we all have to do as yachties is keep our boats up to date. So very important fact of life, and we need to get it done. So I've got anti-foul all over my trailer, but I've managed it. I've pushed it back about 3 feet from the post here, and I was able to get to pretty much all of it. Nothing like fresh anti-foul. Give it a day to dry and pull it back on the trailer and get it back in the water, I think. So Interim has been here for about 6 or 7 weeks. It's taken me 6 or 7 weeks to fix the brakes, to do the wheels. She's done, looking good, looking like a brand new 40-year-old girl again. Now I'm probably overthinking this, but to make some jigs that I can just overlay over the foam as I'm shaping it seems to me to be a sensible decision. By doing that, I'm going to get a higher accuracy than I had earlier on. Now the first goes at it was all hand shaping, put it in place, lift it off, put it in place, lift it off. I know the shapes are correct now, so if I can make a jig off them, that makes total sense. But after the crap I went through last week and having to add foam and everything, I figured, you know, if I'm going to do another boat at some point, or if someone ever wants to do another one, I can just hand them some jigs. So I've come up with this idea. If I make 4 individual jigs with 3 spaces, I can just place that over the shaped area instead of going and getting it all CNC, because I don't have the exact dimensions. But to derive this center shape, I've used a Stedler, I guess you call it a drafting jig, or a drafting curve, a form gauge, and I've laid that in there and then derived it back onto this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make some strips of plastic like this guy, and then what I'll probably do is I'll glue these or slide them on to each side, and then I'll have a jig that I can just sit in place as I shape. I can sort of keep putting it in place until I get the final shape, and I think that's going to work. So now that I've determined this this here, I can then put this reasonably perpendicular to it, get my bandsaw, notch it out, make my 3. I'll go pretty high because I want them to be as accurate as possible. I'll do another one down towards the bottom. The whole thing's going to fall apart now on me. One thing I just learned is if I mark the actual upright and where it's going to sit, then it makes alignment very easy. What I'm going to do when I come back and put it all together, like I've done with this one over here, is I'm going to get my methacrylate gun and just tack it all together so that it can never move again. And then, yeah, storing this is going to be a bit of a pain in the backside, but that, you know, it's worth making the effort to get this set up so that next time around makes life a lot easier. It'll actually help me with this effort. You know, I could hand shape it like I did with the other one, but, you know, I reckon I'm going to cut my time in about a quarter by doing this. Right, about 3 hours work, and I've come up with these templates. They're going to be spot on. I'm coming in tomorrow morning to give it a good bash. I'm going to cut them out. I'm going to try and save as much foam, so I'll go as deep as I can here and cut these, because these foam blocks here, with the first lot, I was actually slashing them up and chucking them in the bin. I realised I'm throwing good money away. I mean, each piece of that's worth about 20 bucks, so if I can keep those blocks, I'll almost have bricks of foam that I'll be able to use in other areas, because I'm sure it won't be the end of laminating foam. It's pretty rudimentary shaping, but at the end of the day, if I was producing 5 of these cats a year, I'd have a CNC shaper come in and just shape them, or take the blocks and get them CNC shaped on a proper machine. But for my purpose, this is going to suit no problem at all. So it's plasticated design. So we're calling this pad, not cardboard, pad. Plasticated design. Very good design. So what took me 2 days last week, or 2.5 days to get right, I've done in 2 hours. These 4 are perfect, done in probably 2.5 hours max, and they're pretty much spot on. So that was a success. I mean, I'm so glad I bloody made the effort to make those jigs, because it took a lot of guesswork out of it. I was able to lay them over and get those shapes almost perfect, so they're ready. Right, it's time to start working out over here. I've got these ones just sitting in place. I've just gone and trimmed these other 2, the back blocks, to match the angle, because the engine beds actually go forward as they go to the stern. They actually come in and close in as they go forward. So I need to match that angle with this next section. So I've just trimmed the ends of these on the bandsaw, and I'm about to glue them in. So I'm pretty bloody happy to get to this stage. Need to give it a good wipe with some styrene, get this embedded down, come back tomorrow, and then I'm going to start modifying this engine bay to match the other one. Okay, so this is on the starboard side. You can see here that I still need to relieve down in here, so I've got to go down about another, probably 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. The only way to do that is to trim off the edges of the foam on each side there, and then I also need to lower or remove the foam under these pieces here, as I did on the other side. This has to sit dead level on the deck or on the hull down there. By removing them, I'm going to get it to sit flush, and then I can work out the exact height of these with my timber bearers on top. So I'm going to get in and cut these out. It's a prick of a job with a oscillating tool, and then basically got to grind it flat and then re-laminate another 6 layers. So I've got to do a 300, 1200 quad, 300, 1200, 300, 1200, another 1200, and then basically beef this up and make sure that it fits in and lowers down onto the actual hull to the correct laminate that we determined without the foam. So I've known this is coming, just like on the port side. It's got to be done. Let's get onto it now. Let's go. What a cracker day. It's early May, and we've come out to Coombs Walk, which is on the northern rim of Jervis Bay, and looking north to Sydney about 2.5 hours. So it's an absolutely cracker of a day. Just a light offshore breeze and absolutely beautiful. And we've got a beautiful walk down the Mermaids Inlet down here and around to a place called Currarong. These are pretty popular areas for kayaking and surfing, and just gorgeous today. I just love the fact that we've got to be told that there's dangerous cliffs ahead. I mean, honestly, as if it's not freaking bleeding obvious. There we go. So this is a very popular place for land-based game fishing. And I don't know if you can see right down in front of us down here, there's a couple of guys down there fishing. Now they've had about a 5 or 6k walk out there, and they've probably got ladders to get down into there, but rock fishing is one of our most dangerous sports. So it's very common for guys to get washed in. A bit hairy trying to film and walk. Wow, this is pretty nice. Just jump.
Indoor rock climbing helps.
Yeah, that's right. You've been climbing every Tuesday night with Sam. I haven't. I've come to Gossang's Tunnel, which opens up out into the other side of the sea cliffs. So it's a pretty spectacular little place. It's a bit of a scramble through here. Hey, yeah, on your knees. It's on your knees?
No, not quite.
I will be. Again. Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah, trousers, I'm not sure.
It's a bum shuffle. I'm trying to film it. Look at that. What a cool thing, eh? I'm on my bum. I feel like a dog with worms. Janet's grabbing. I can't imagine what I look like. Actually, I'm going to have to do a selfie. I'm like scraping my bum along the floor here. These boardies are right up there. It's not a good scene, but it's so worth it. Well, that was worth the scramble. Yeah, right on. Spectacular. Yeah, it's like a crack, isn't it? Go on, buddy.
There you go.
Yeah, good, mate.
It's crazy people camping down.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fishing down there. You can actually walk. You can walk down there on the other track.
The other
Yeah,
down there.
yeah.
They're actually camping though.
Well, that's it, guys. That's the end of another week. And as I sit here and compile it all, and it was 2 months ago, so it's a bit hard to remember it all. But it is good because I shoot around about 100 gig of video a day, and it's quite a lot of footage to wade through. So I can work around 10 to 20 hours putting out one video. So it's a fair effort. In fact, I reckon I spend about 60% of my day filming and editing, and then 40% of it boat building. So imagine how quickly the boat would be built. In fact, today marks a milestone. It's 2 years today since I gel coated the hull. So that's quite a major milestone, given that I'm pretty much doing it on my own. I'm probably on target, I think I am. Possibly a little bit behind, and I've got some more work coming up where I've got to travel for another sea kayaking trip. But look, if you'd like the video, please give it a like, certainly subscribe, and our Facebook site, the Life on the Hulls Facebook site, has a couple of up-to-date photos that I took this week, and if you haven't already seen them, a lot of you probably already have, there's photos of my fuel tank bay and a couple of the bilge photos where I flow coated them out. So pretty exciting for me that when I finished doing the flow coating, I went, yes, it's finally, that part's done. You know, that's done and dusted. I can now put the floors down and get going. And then I thought, no, I can't, because I've got a million other things to do. But that's the way it is on the hulls up there. It's a bit of a moving thing, and it just got to keep moving and moving along quite nicely at the moment. Given it's nice and cool here, it is winter here, and I'm loving it. I just can't get enough cold weather. So please pass it on, share it out, like the video, make a comment, and I'll see you next time on Life on the Hulls. Catch you guys, bye.